Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of August 19th. This week, we are going to jump right in here, Taurus, and see what's going on for you. You have this new love card. It says, a new romantic relationship is unfolding that will be deeply meaningful for you. You have this divine intelligence. It says, connect with your higher self. And, it says to connect with your higher self, you must first learn to create space to listen. So for a lot of you, it could be a good week to tap in. It is Mercury retrograde, so again, I think retrogrades are always great for tapping into your intuition, meditating, all that other good stuff. You have the Seven of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, and the Chariot. So first off, this looks good for love right away, but I think that for some of you, it's time to kind of like take control of your finances. The Chariot is about like really taking control. He represents hard control, and the Strength card, for example, is the card of soft control, but the Chariot is about like really making sure that you are doing something to improve your financial situation. So a lot of you, could be putting in the work to do that. And I do feel like it will be, I do feel it will be paying off for you. So, we have the Seven of Pentacles here. You go from the Seven of Pentacles down to the Two of Cups. So for some of you, this could be, the Two of Cups can be your love, but the Two of Cups can also represent you and your higher self. So your higher self could be trying to communicate with you to make some sort of change in your finances. And again, I like the Seven of Pentacles for a change in your finances. He's looking at the work that he has done, and he's saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? I think we're in a time where we are all becoming more efficient, or we are being asked by the universe to become more efficient. So, you could be discovering better ways to improve your finances. You have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles can represent feeling left out in the cold, or, can represent poverty consciousness or feeling like a victim. I kind of feel like for most of you, this is about needing to double down on your strengths. Again, like I always say, to me, the fives have very easy solutions in the tarot. And the solution to the Five of Pentacles is to not call attention to your weaknesses and to double down on your strengths. So you probably already have some strengths that could greatly increase your finances if you would focus on them. So there's, I'm sure there's plenty of things you can't do, but I'm sure there are also plenty of things that you could do, and that's what I would focus on with the Five of Pentacles. You also have the Chariot. I think in a lot of ways that you are also in alignment with something bigger and better. So on the Chariot, he is leaving the city behind him and he doesn't really know where he's going. He's just going in a new direction, and he is also trusting the universe. These two Sphinxes here, they represent the mysteries of the universe. And so he doesn't really know where he's going. He just knows that he's in alignment with what he wants. And because of that, he is getting what he wants. The Chariot is a victory. But he has to make sure that he's in alignment. So going this way here, you have the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups can represent, again, you and your higher self are coming into alignment. And then you have the Ten of Swords. You have the Devil over here. I think that this is saying, like, there are some things that maybe you need to cut out. These could be like bad habits, or could be could be whatever, right? It's like maybe you say you want to make a lot of money, but maybe also you're watching Netflix for 12 hours a day. It's like those two things are not in alignment, right? So I think the Ten of Swords is about getting rid of the things that are not in alignment. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is like this or that thinking. We are not in a black and white time. We are in a time of millions of colors. So I think that you need to realize that, like, however you think something is going to work out, it's probably not going to work out according to plan. She has this island behind her, and that island represents a third place. It basically just says that, she is thinking this or that, but probably the truth is over there. So I think for a lot of you, like, whatever you are thinking is, things are probably not going to go how you think. But this can be a good thing. With the Five of Pentacles, yes, like I said, I'm not worried about that Five of Pentacles at all. You have the Eight of Pentacles here. Eight of Pentacles is about your hard work paying off. He's done a lot of work. He is kind of like head down, nose to the grindstone. But if he were to look up, he would see all the work that he has already accomplished. So I think you have a lot more skills necessary. I think you have a lot more skills than you think, right? And I think this is like very normal. It's like I teach a bunch of YouTube classes for myself and for sometimes for other people, and it's like it's kind of like over the past like 2 years or 3 years that I've been doing this, I've really realized that it's not like the complex stuff that people need to know about. It's always things that I think are super simple that people have questions on, right? So again, I think all of us kind of undersell our information, or we think we need to. I don't know how to say what I want to say, but it's like I think we kind of undervalue what we bring to the table. And I feel like this Eight of Pentacles is kind of saying that. It's like saying you think what people in your life, or maybe your boss, or your people for your business, you think what they want is up here, but like really what they want is down here. So I think that it's saying like don't undervalue what you have to offer. With the Chariot, you have the Eight of Wands, quick success. Yes, I think that there could be a quick success coming in for you. This could also be love. Like I said, coming in for you. It could be a Cancer or a Capricorn or a Libra. It could be any sign, general reading. But if you want love, I feel that this could be new love. It could be something that comes in a little bit surprising as well. Like I kind of get this energy of someone kind of just coming out of nowhere in a lot of ways. So, again, I'm not saying like this is going to be some sort of totally unexpected surprise. I just think that, it's like maybe you're not really looking for it and a person shows up. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, again, Page of Cups, that's why I say this might be a little surprising. You have this Chimera, it says, imagination clouds your judgment. You have this dagger, it says, danger and conflict lie in wait. Every single person has had a card like this, and the Tower has shown up for almost every single sign as well. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I would just keep your head on straight, right? I would also be careful of people who have stabbed you in the back already. You have the Ten of Swords, Mercury retrograde, so this could absolutely be saying you need to be careful of people who've stabbed you in the back before. You have the Page of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. Page of Cups is imagination, and you have this card that says imagination clouds your judgment. So if you are attracting a person, I would definitely make sure that you are grounding it in reality. Especially you have the Knight of Pentacles in this row as well, and it's like this kind of combination could be where you get very attracted to the fantasy and not necessarily the reality. I've been saying this for years because we have Neptune and Pisces. I have a lot of bones to pick with Neptune and Pisces. But one of the big ones is that if you get into something in a connection where you don't see each other a lot, especially, it's not such a big deal if you are making a reality, right? If you are seeing that person. But if you're getting into something where you don't see the person physically, like maybe it's long distance, or maybe they're just busy or whatever, then there is definitely a danger of just getting sucked up in the fantasy. It's like the fantasy almost becomes more attractive than the reality, and then it doesn't become a reality. So this isn't like a bad thing. It just says, again, if you meet a person that you are interested in, make sure that you fall in love with the reality, not the fantasy, right? And I feel like the Page of Cups is kind of saying, because he is the card of imagination, it's like saying, don't let your imaginations, run away with a person, right? You have the Two of Cups, though, and again, the Two of Cups would be a perfect match. The Two of Cups is usually a person who is different than your usual type, which everybody gets nowadays. This Two of Cups can also, could also be a Leo that you're attracting, but the Two of Cups could also be you and your higher self. And I feel like your higher self is encouraging you to leave something behind that maybe is a fantasy, because we go up to the Ten of Swords here. So some of you might have a fantasy that is only a fantasy and not a reality. And I feel like that whatever this thing is could be the thing that is kind of holding you back in some ways. So, for example, if you want love, but maybe you are in love with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and maybe that is your fantasy. I hate to tell you, but probably not going to happen. I could be totally wrong. I've seen crazier things happen, but you're probably not going to marry Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? And I feel like what this is saying is maybe you're in love with a person, but maybe it's a fantasy, and the Ten of Swords is like saying letting it go will open you up to like a real fantasy. And so I know I'm babbling at this point, but I think, and it doesn't have to be love. by the way. It's like, maybe you think that you're going to start a rocket company that's going to compete with Elon. And the reading isn't saying it's not possible, but it's just saying you can't make that big of a leap right away. So I kind of feel that Ten of Swords is talking about, breaking something down in small steps and doing something that's possible right now. The Knight of Pentacles says the same thing. You have to plant the first seed to get to the point where you can be successful. So the Knight of Pentacles says you kind of have to like start small. But the thing about starting small is if you start small, eventually you will get big. That's what she said, right? But what I would say is I think you have to like plant that first seed in something to make it happen. And so, again, reality, right? With the Page of Cups, you have the Ten of Cups again. The 10 Cups exist above their heads. So they're, again, fantasy. Still very good. Still absolutely could be attracting a very solid connection here. But there is something, about this reading that's really saying to me, something needs to come down to earth. With the Two of Cups, you have the Lovers. Can't make that up. So, like I said, there is definitely a solid love connection coming in for you. The other thing I would say is that maybe this is your idea of love. Like maybe you're like, I will only date someone who's 6'5", has $10 billion in the bank account, is perfectly loving, is emotional, but also manly, which is impossible. And, like all these other things, right? So maybe you have this crazy list of requirements, which are not possible, right? No one is like that. So I think we all need to kind of realize that humans are humans. Nobody is perfect. And we're never going to discover that, perfect person, right? Because it doesn't exist. But, probably you could find a person who is really, really good, And I feel that that's what this reading is kind of saying as far as love is concerned. But there's definitely a, perfect match coming in for you. Or this definitely could be like a really solid love connection. You even have this love card in your next row. So really good for love. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, even better. Ace of Wands is that spark of life, that spark of inspiration. So again, you could be attracting a spark with a new person. And, again, I think that this could be like a very inspiring connection as well. That's the thing I'm getting. Ace of Wands could be, I don't think you're settling at all, but I think that, you could be seeing a person where you're like, this person would be good enough. And, you could be going for it. I also feel that this could be the thing that gets your ass moving. So for those of you that are trying to plant that first seed, like if you have an idea for a business or, a new career direction or whatever it is, I think that this Ace of Wands is like that spark of inspiration, which is great. You literally could be getting going this week. This week is, today's the 13th. Tomorrow will be the 14th when this video comes out. And so even if you watch this on the 14th, I think you could be getting started now, not next week, which, this reading is for the week of whatever, the 19th. Next, in the area of, you can't make this up, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this card that says flexibility, and then you have love, right? So I think for those of you that do want love, it's time to be flexible. And again, I'm not saying you're like, dating some bozo here or something like that. But, it's like, I think you're just maybe being more realistic about the connections that you can attract into your life. And I also feel like maybe you're being more open. So that's not a bad thing. That's probably a good thing. I also feel that some of you are healing your heart. I'm actually going to skip forward. You have the Ten of Swords, Justice, and Three of Swords. Three of Swords is all about healing your heart. Every single sign so far this week has had the Three of Swords. I think that we're just in a time where, Mercury retrograde, we could be forgiving the past or we could be forgiving past connections. And the Three of Swords is just saying that you are healing your heart and forgiving the past, which is probably allowing you to open up to something new. So, again, I think you're just healing. You have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with, but I always say that he's making this symbol right here with his hands, and that symbol represents a blessing in disguise. So I feel for a lot of you that there, something, you could be walking away from something or leaving something behind. Again, like I said, a lot of people have had the Tower this week. Even in the mid-monthly readings that I did, the Tower came up for like every single sign. So it seems to me like we're in a time where we're being asked to release something. But again, we are probably stepping into reality. You don't have the Tower yet. It might happen, but it doesn't matter. Again, the collective energy exists. And the whole point of the Tower is that you need to come down to reality, see reality for what it actually is. And when we see reality, we can enter into reality. So again, even if something is dying Or even if you're releasing a fantasy, right? Like maybe you have fantasized about a business or a person or a relationship or a connection or whatever. Even if you're letting that go and coming down to reality and accepting the reality, that is opening you up to a new reality. And I feel this reading is kind of trying to get you to do that, right? You have the Justice card. Justice is cause and effect, and Justice says that you need to pay attention to cause and effect at this time. I think all fixed signs need to pay attention to justice. So if you put energy into something, what are you getting out of it? And if you pay attention to that, you will find success. So, just that simple. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Fool here, and yes, oh yeah, you have the Ace of Wands. I knew there was like another new beginning card here. So the Fool is about taking a leap of faith towards something new. And again, I actually feel like you're doing this. I feel pretty good about this, Taurus. Like I feel a certain level of acceptance in life, and I feel like because you're accepting your current situation, you're not saying this is going to be my situation forever. I feel like you're just saying this is where I'm at right now, but I can change it. I can slowly and surely change it, but it won't happen slowly. Again, I'm telling you, I'm convinced as a person who has done it. When you make those tiny like little 1% improvements, which I preach about and have been for years, and when you plant that first seed, Knight of Pentacles, the changes do not happen slowly. It might seem like it at first, but the compound effect, right? It's like eventually those improvements compound on each other, and before you know it, you've made a ton of improvements. So it doesn't happen slowly, but I think you're kind of like accepting your current situation, and you're not committing to it. You're not saying like this is going to be my life forever. You're just saying I know I have to kind of take the steps to get there. With the Justice card, you have the Star, yes. See, the whole entire reading is about improvements. The Star even is a card of like hope, faith, and renewal. And I feel like you are doing the things to kind of like create hope for the future, or to create renewal in your future. And really that's what the Star is saying. With the Three of Swords, you have the Three of Pentacles, turning that frown upside down, right? Three of Swords, total sadness. Three of Pentacles is entering into something where there is teamwork or collaboration. So if you want love, again, maybe you had a person who wouldn't collaborate with you in the past or didn't put in the work, and now you're discovering a person who will put in the work. I also feel like you are more focusing on yourself. Again, a couple of signs seem to be doing this right now where it's like I'm not saying you're being selfish, but I think you're more focused on yourself in a good way, and you're focused on like what you can do right here. Three of Pentacles, he has put those three pentacles up there. He has done a quality job. This is a card of quality work. And because of that, I think that, by focusing on yourself, it's like people can see the work. The whole point of the Three of Pentacles is that those two people are looking at the work that he has done. So it's like when you do work on yourself, people can see it, and then you can like attract new people, new jobs, new positions, whatever you want. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this card that says your commitment is being tested. You have this new moon in Libra. It says a new romantic cycle begins. You cannot make this stuff up. So clearly, you are entering into a new cycle as far as love is concerned. I feel like your commitment to yourself is being tested. Like, are you really committed to your ideas? And here's the thing, Taurus, that I want to say to you, is that if you are not committed to an idea, that is not a bad thing, right? It's like maybe you are realizing that you are working on something, like maybe you have a project in your life or something that you're doing that you're just not committed to. You're not feeling it, right? And I feel like this is saying if you're not feeling something, that is probably a clue that it's time to move away from it. And again, I feel like this part is more talking about like a project or a business or an idea, and making the change is going to set you free. But you are clearly entering into a new time of love. You have this Temperance card, the Eight of Cups, and the Devil. Temperance is about turning one thing into another. It's a card of alchemy. And so I feel for a lot of you, you could just be turning a negative in your life into a positive. Or again, you could be being more realistic about some sort of fantasy that is existing in your life. And the Temperance card could say that you are creating that fantasy. It's like maybe you can't date Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson if we're going to keep going with that. But maybe you could go somewhere where you could meet a person who looks like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's like maybe you could date his brother Carl "The Rock" Johnson, right? So it's like maybe you can't get straight to Dwayne, but maybe you can get something that's kind of like similar, right? You have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is about you walking away from things that no longer serve you. And again, I think that there's a lot of stuff here. Here's the thing about fantasy that I will tell you as well, is it doesn't serve you. It's like having a fantasy that you can't have, is like, and trust me, I'm a delusional Pisces, a delusional Gemini moon. That's where this is coming from, right? I am totally delusional. Most of my ideas don't work, right? But the thing about fantasy is that that you know you can't have, right? Something that you're 100% sure you'll never have, is that it's just like, it's kind of like a waste of time, number one. But number two, it is showing you something. It's like the fantasy is showing you what you desire. And I kind of feel like what this reading is saying is, it's like, maybe you can't have exactly the thing, but there are traits, there are portions, there are aspects of what you are fantasizing that could be a reality. And I feel the Eight of Cups is saying that's what you need to focus on, is the things that you know are possible. It's like, sometimes I think we date a person, if you've ever been in love with a person too much, that, and I'm not talking about love here. This is just an example. I think this could be anything in your life, but I feel like it's important. If you've ever been too in love with a person, it's like, what I feel like this is saying is that were parts that were good, but there were also parts where you were being delusional. There are also things that you put up with that you should not have put up with, right? And it's like, I think those situations show us what we love. Those situations are saying like, hey, you loved this part. You loved this aspect. And I feel like what the Eight of Cups is all about is not settling for something that you can't have, right? Whether it's love, business, or otherwise. But also it's about saying, what? I really, really enjoyed like this one aspect of this person or this place or this thing, right? And it's like, this is why I encourage people to date as much as possible. I'm not saying you have to jump into bed with these people, and I don't recommend it either. But what I am saying is, like, when you date a lot of people, you can start collecting all the aspects that you like. And then the more you focus on that, the more you're going to attract a person who, again, nobody is perfect. Sure as shit, you're not perfect, right? That's for sure. But what I would say, none of us are, right? And we're all delusional. And what I would say is that when you collect that, you can find someone who's pretty damn close. They're probably not going to be perfect, but they at least you know what you're looking for. You have the Devil here. The Devil showing up in the good stuff. So again, I think you're seeing through the illusion, the delusion, whatever. Again, this is a good reading. This is not a bad thing, what's going on here. With the Temperance card, you have the Magician. Definitely attracting more into your life. And again, when you become more specific about what you want, when you truly know what you want because you have seen it, tasted it, touched it, felt it, whatever, that's when you will get what you want right there. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Empress. The Empress is about total abundance. Yeah, very attractive at this time, Taurus. So again, if you are looking for love, like, now is clearly the time to get attention or get out there. This is also amazing for your abundance. I totally feel that your abundance is changing. And I feel like where it is here. It's like you think you need to be here, but you just need to be down here, right? So it's funny because I did a free course like a while ago, and I was saying it was all about just being a D student, right? And I think I am convinced as a D student, right? In school, I can tell you that I think you only need to be like a D level student in life to be successful. With the Devil, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Could be an earth sign. You could be attracting another earth sign into your life. The Magician is pointing to this top card. By the way, I can't make this up. It says, hold your vision. Yes, it's like you have all the aspects of your vision in mind. Like, I feel like what something that you want looks like because you've tasted it multiple times. Like, maybe you've had many relationships, or maybe you've had many jobs or businesses, and it's like, now like what the perfect thing looks like. Not that it will ever be perfect, but I hope that makes sense. Can't make this up. You have this Romance card, yes, and it's Venus and Taurus, by the way. So clearly there could be new love coming in for you. You have this Extremism card. Yeah, the whole entire week, again, with the Tower showing up for everybody and everything, I always tell people, like, be careful, and especially, again, illusions, fantasies, I would be careful of people who are like, oh my god, the sky is falling, right? I've been telling people that until, like, 2033, I would be very careful of people who are screaming that things are all bad, or that things are all good, right? I think we need to be more in a neutral position. So just know that if, someone in your life is panicking about something, it's probably not true. You have this Intuition card. Yeah, trust your intuition. I think that in those moments where a person could be panicking in your life, you will see the truth. You have this Riches card. Yes, I'm telling you as well, very abundant time for you. So I think that you need to, if this is holding you back, if you thinking that you need to be at a certain level is holding you back, I would just get started. Whatever it is you're thinking about doing, because I think that you are kind of like underestimating your abilities, or I also think you are overestimating what is required. Like let's say you're thinking about starting a business or starting a podcast or doing something. I feel like where you think you need to be is just like way up here, but really it's actually down here. So don't be afraid to get started. You're more than capable. You have this principal card. Yeah, and here's the other thing as well, is like, as far as love is concerned, I think that there's a person where you're going to be more in alignment with their belief systems and their principles and all this other stuff. And again, here's the other thing about Neptune and Pisces. If you have a fantasy about a person, the fantasy is never as good as reality under Neptune and Pisces, right? So it's like maybe you do end up dating Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but maybe you find out that he likes to, maybe he likes to play with Barbies or something like that in real life. And you're like, oh, I thought I was getting this real manly man. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with playing with Barbies, but I don't know, it would be pretty weird if a grown man did that. So, again, it's like maybe you have this fantasy, but then when you get the fantasy, it doesn't match the reality. So again, I think for those of you that want love, it's you're getting something more realistic, and that's what this is saying. But I love this reading for some reason. I don't know why, but there you go. Thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy the reality.